At 38, I am Lara Vance, a physician who fought her path through periods of exhausting work to purchase my ideal residence, a $2,800,000 oceanfront mansion in Cape Cod. It became my refuge, my prize, a spot to relax after dedicating all into my profession. Yet that tranquility broke with one telephone call. My sibling called, his tone saturated with that recognizable presumption. "We are coming to you," he stated. "There will be 20 of us. Get beds, linens, flip-flops, provisions. We are remaining for a fortnight. We will arrive in half an hour, so be quick." I remained motionless, clutching my mobile, his speech repeating like a strike. 20 individuals occupying my residence. Without inquiring, I could already imagine the disorder: outsiders lounging upon my surfaces, plundering my refrigerator, stomping on my area. My pulse accelerated, not with alarm, but with something more intense. I had permitted him to dominate me previously, his constant taking, his failed commitments, yet not now. I grinned, a scheme igniting inside my head. This was not merely regarding my dwelling, it was regarding reclaiming authority. He believed he could enter and commandeer. He was going to discover how mistaken he was. This narrative truly caused me to ponder the limits inside kin. What regarding you? Share your reflections in the remarks so we can converse collectively. As I disconnected the telephone, my thoughts wandered back. Liam's voice, arrogant and commanding, was not unfamiliar. It was a routine one I had disregarded for too long, wishing kin implied devotion. I was incorrect. 5 years prior, Liam approached me with his grand scheme, a new company vending craft coffee. He required $50,000 to launch it. I was 33, newly after an advancement, and desired to assist him. I wrote the check, no queries posed, trusting his assurances of reimbursement. The venture collapsed within 6 months. He never reimbursed me, not 1 cent, alleging the industry failed. I allowed it, thinking relatives warranted additional opportunities. Then existed my automobile. 2 years ago, Liam borrowed my SUV for a weekend journey. He retained it for 3 months, accumulating parking fines and departing coffee marks upon the seats. When I faced him, he dismissed it, stating I could purchase a replacement. I was enraged, but remained silent. Mother had constantly advocated maintaining harmony. She had died by then, but her speech remained, encouraging me to hold the kin united. I attempted even when Liam took my grandmother's pearl jewelry from my cabinet, asserting he had taken it for his sweetheart. I never saw it again. He did not even express regret, just shrugged like it was insignificant. The most terrible was his boy, Noah. At 16, Noah required fees for an independent academy. Liam was too occupied squandering cash on athletic gambling to bother. I paid the $20,000 invoice, considering Mother, who had constantly desired the finest for her grandson. Liam expressed gratitude to me with an insincere message, then purchased himself a new timepiece. I observed it upon his arm at a kin supper, glistening while Noah's academy costs depleted my reserves. Each instance I told myself it was the final assistance, but Liam kept returning, relying on my achievement, my reliability, my quiet. It commenced when we were children. Liam, 2 years senior, constantly possessed a method of obtaining what he desired. He had enchanted Mother into additional cash, leaving me to manage. In secondary school, he would accept praise for my assignments, grinning when educators commended him. I labored diligently, studied nightly, constructed my occupation from scratch. Liam. He drifted, relying on my accomplishments like they were his. When I entered medical school, he requested a minor loan to cover his lease. I provided it, thinking he would mature. He did not. Over the eras, I gave him thousands. 10,000 for an unsuccessful DJ event, 5,000 for a guaranteed venture. Each instance he had vowed to repay me, then disappear until he required additional. I was not gullible. I saw the trend, but remorse kept me trapped. Mother's phrases echoed, kin supports one another. I wanted to honor her, to be the sibling she had raised. Liam understood that, and exploited it. He would mention her name in every request, knowing it would tug at me. Mother would have desired this, he would state, and I would yield. But standing inside my mansion, his tones still resonating from that call, I sensed something change. Each loan, every taken object, every broken pledge accumulated. This was not regarding kin. It was regarding Liam viewing my success as his private bank. I had spent years constructing this existence, this home, solely for him to assume he could enter and seize it. The recollections burned. I considered the late evenings studying the 12-hour operations, the sacrifices to afford this mansion. Liam never saw that. To him, my effort was just a supply to exploit. I recalled the last occasion I saw him 6 months ago at a cousin's wedding. He had boasted about his new vessel, purchased with money. I later discovered, originated from selling my previous laptop, another taken object. I had allowed it, not wanting to spoil the day. But now, with 20 individuals about to occupy my home, I was finished. Liam believed he could continue taking. He was mistaken. 30 minutes later, the driveway roared with motors. I stepped to the pane, my stomach churning, as 3 automobiles and a van arrived, discharging a group of 20 strangers. Liam led the group, marching toward my front entrance like he possessed the location. Before I could even unlock it, they shoved inside their mirth, loud and thoughtless, holding sacks of crisps, 6-packs of ale, and pizza containers. The timber surface, shined just the day before, was immediately covered with fragments and dirty tracks. Someone dropped a vacant container upon my carpet, the metal clinking as it rotated. I stood frozen, observing my haven become a party house. Liam did not even look at me as he threw his carry-on upon my sofa. "Pleasant spot, Alara," he stated, his inflection casual, like he was praising a hotel. His pals dispersed, unlocking my refrigerator, seizing containers, and playing tunes from a portable speaker. The bass pounded through my walls, muffling the noise of the swells I had come here to hear. One man lounged upon my armchair, resting his boots upon the side table. Another opened a pack of tortilla chips, spreading orange powder upon my light cushions. I clenched my fists, the atmosphere inside my lungs feeling dense. This was my residence, my retreat, and they were destroying it without a second thought. I followed Liam as he went upstairs, his trainers leaving sand upon my steps. "Where is the finest chamber?" he inquired. Not awaiting a reply, he pushed open the entrance to my sleeping quarters, the one with the wall-to-wall panes facing the sea. "This will work," he stated, tossing his coat upon my bed. "Myself and a few buddies are claiming this one. You possess additional chambers, correct?" His smug expression made my blood heat. I had spent months planning that area, every cushion, every image selected to make it mine. Now he was claiming it like it was his privilege. "Liam, you cannot simply take my chamber," I stated, my tone sharp but firm. He spun, raising an eyebrow as if I had uttered something ridiculous. "Unwind, Alara. It is merely a fortnight. You are not utilizing it constantly, are you?" His pals, relaxing in the corridor, giggled, encouraging him. One of them, a female with a brew in hand, yelled, "Yeah, relax. It is a celebration." I gazed at Liam, waiting for him to correct her, to acknowledge this was my residence. He did not. Instead, he seized a cushion from my bed and threw it to one of his companions. "Make yourself comfortable," he stated, ignoring me entirely. The violation struck me like a surge. This was not merely regarding a chamber or a disorder. It was my area, my existence being stomped by individuals who did not care. I considered the years I had spent constructing this lengthy operations, missed holidays, every dollar reserved for this mansion. Liam understood that. He had observed me strive, yet here he was converting my home into his private amusement park. I watched a man spill ale upon my kitchen counter, not even troubling to clean it. Another left a pizza box open upon the eating table, oil staining the timber. The sound increased louder, containers, clinking, voices yelling over the music. My chest tightened as I realized how little they valued what I had built. I wanted to shout, to push them all out the entrance, but I restrained. Liam's dismissal hurt worse than the mess. He behaved like my home was a complimentary rental, like my limits did not exist. I stood in the entrance of my sleeping quarters, observing him unpack his bag, throwing garments onto my seat. His pals wandered around, some proceeding to the patio, others plundering my larder. The odor of inexpensive ale blended with the briny air, and I felt my haven fading. I was not just annoyed, I was choking. This was my boundary, and Liam had crossed it without a second thought. I followed Liam into my sleeping quarters. His coat was still draped across my bed, his trainers scuffing the hardwood as he searched through my cabinet for additional cushions. The audacity of it entering my area, treating it like his own, ignited a fire inside my chest. I took a deep breath, steadying myself. This was not merely regarding a chamber, it was regarding my home, my limits, and I was not permitting him to overpower me again. Liam, I stated, my voice firm. You and your pals must depart. Now. He halted, turning to face me with a smug expression that made my skin crawl. Depart, Alara. Come on, do not be theatrical. He stated, his inflection saturated with mockery. He leaned against my cabinet, crossing his arms like he was humoring a child. Yeah. This spot is enormous. There is space for everybody. Why create a major issue from it? His phrases were sharp-cutting, intended to make me feel insignificant. I stood my ground, staring him down. This is my house, Liam. You did not inquire. You do not get to choose who remains. His laugh was loud, almost dramatic, echoing through the room. Oh, Elara, relax, he stated, rolling his eyes. We are kin, Elara. Kin shares, correct. You possess all this area, and you are hoarding it like some penny pincher. He gestured around as if my home was a communal garden. The term kin struck me like a poke, twisting my determination. He understood precisely what he was doing. Pulling that card to make me second-guess myself. I recalled Mother's voice, her lessons regarding unity. This was not unity. It was intrusion. Downstairs, his pals detected the strain. A man in a baseball cap leaned over the staircase railing, grinning. Yo, Liam, she's serious. He called, chuckling like I was the joke. A female with a half-empty ale container joined in, shouting, Let us all just unwind. Okay, it is a holiday. The group erupted in laughter, their voices mixing with the thumping music. I felt their gazes upon me, judging, dismissing. It was like standing in a spotlight. Every phrase I uttered mocked. Liam did not correct them. Instead, he shrugged, turning back to me with a smug look. See, everybody is fine with it. You are the one making it strange. I clenched my jaw, my hands shaking. The room felt smaller, the air denser as their laughter pressed against me. I wanted to scream, to pull them all out myself, but I understood I could not yet. Liam, I'm not joking, I stated, my voice low but steady. You are not remaining here. None of you are. He raised an eyebrow, unaffected, and tossed another cushion onto the bed. You are gonna eject your own sibling, silly Alara. After everything we have experienced, his inflection softened, but it was counterfeit, a tactic I had succumbed to too many instances. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Mother would have desired us to remain united. You understand that? That was the blade he twisted. Mother, he constantly mentioned her when he desired something. I saw her face in my mind, her warm grin, her endless patience, but I also saw the reality. She would never have permitted him to dominate me like this. My resolve solidified, but the weight of his phrases, the taunting from his pals, made me feel like I was sinking. I was 1 against 20, their voices loud, their presence overwhelming. For a moment I felt helpless, like every instance I had permitted him to take and take without consequence, but something snapped inside me. I was not that sibling anymore, the one who yielded to maintain the peace. I considered the mansion, every dollar I had gained, every sacrifice to make it mine. Liam did not get to rewrite that narrative. This is not regarding kin, I stated, my voice cutting through the noise. This is regarding respect, and you possess none. His smug expression faltered just for a second, but he recovered swiftly, waving me off. You will overcome it, he stated, turning back to his bag. His pals cheered, their support like a barrier between us. I stood there, heart pounding, knowing I could not allow this slide. I would not. I slipped into my office and called Beatrice. The entrance clicked shut behind me, muffling the thumping music and laughter from downstairs. My hands shook as I dialed the weight of Liam's phrases. We are kin, Elara still clawing at me. Beatrice picked up on the second ring, her voice warm and steady. Elara, what is wrong? You sound off. I exhaled, the knot in my chest loosening, just hearing her. Where? Beatrice Cox had been my foundation since medical school, the one individual who saw through Liam's charm from day one. I spilled everything: his unannounced appearance, the 20 strangers converting my mansion into a party area, his smug claim on my sleeping quarters, and the way he twisted kin to silence me. He stated what Beatrice's inflection sharpened, cutting through my haze. Elara, this is not okay. That is your home, not his private getaway. You have labored too hard for this. Her phrases were like a lifeline, pulling me back from the edge of uncertainty. I paced the office, glancing at the framed picture of me and Beatrice at my graduation, a reminder of the eras I had fought for this existence. I told him to depart. I stated, my voice low, but he laughed it off. His pals supported him up, acting like I am the antagonist. Beatrice did not hesitate. You are not the antagonist. He is crossing a boundary and you need to push back firmly. She did not stop there. Listen, you are in a gated neighborhood, correct? Call the local security crew. They manage things like this constantly in spots like Cape Cod, and get your attorney on the telephone. Pull up your property deed. Liam's got no claim to your house, and you need to make that evident. Her guidance was practical. No nonsense, precisely what I required. I nodded, even though she could not see me, my mind racing with possibilities. Security and an attorney, I repeated, the phrases grounding me. Yeah, that could function. Beatrice's voice softened but stayed firm. You have got this, Elara. Do not let him intimidate you into surrendering your area. It is yours. As we spoke, a memory surfaced clear as day. I was 12, sitting at the kitchen table with Mom June Vance while she chopped vegetables for supper. Liam had just borrowed my cycle without inquiring, leaving it scraped in the driveway. I was enraged, but when I complained, Mom looked at me, her eyes calm but serious. Elara, your belongings are yours. Individuals can only take what you permit them. Respect begins with you. Her phrases had stuck, even after all these eras. June was not here anymore, but that lesson was etched deep, a quiet strength I had forgotten until now. Liam was not just taking my chamber. He was disrespecting everything I had built, everything Mom had taught me to value. Beatrice's voice snapped me back. You still there? She inquired. I nodded again, clutching the telephone. Yeah, I am here. I recalled something Mom stated about respect. She would despise this Liam behaving like my home is his playground. Beatrice sighed. Precisely. June would have called him out in a heartbeat. You need to do the same. You are not alone in this. Okay, I am here, and you have got the instruments to fix it. Her confidence was contagious, sparking something fierce in me. I was not powerless. I had options: security and attorney, my own resolve. I disconnected, my heart still pounding but steadier now. I opened my laptop, pulling up the contact for the local security crew. My fingers hovered over the keys, hesitating for just a moment. Liam's face flashed in my mind, his smirk, his casual dismissal. But so did Mom's voice, Beatrice's encouragement. This was my home, my haven, paid for with eras of sweat and sacrifice. I was not permitting Liam to take that from me, not this time. I dialed the security crew's number, my voice calm as I introduced myself. Hi. This is Elara Vance. I require assistance at my property. As I spoke, I felt the fire in me grow. Tom. I was finished being pushed around. With Beatrice's phrases in my head, I picked up the telephone. My fingers moved fast, dialing the local security crew's number. This is Elara Vance, I stated, my voice steady despite the disorder downstairs. I have uninvited visitors at my property who refuse to depart. The operator was calm, professional, promising a crew would arrive within 10 minutes. Next, I called my attorney, Karen, who had managed the mansion's closing. Karen, I require you to confirm my property deed, I told her, explaining Liam's intrusion. She promised to email the documents within the hour, her inflection sharp with indignation on my behalf. I opened my laptop, digging through files to locate the deed myself, ensuring every detail was prepared. This was not merely a telephone call. It was me drawing a boundary. I headed downstairs, the music louder now, a pulsing beat that rattled the panes. Liam was in the kitchen opening another ale, his pals sprawled across my sitting room. Pashin. I took a deep breath, steeling myself. Liam, I stated, standing in the entrance, I am giving you one final opportunity. Take your pals and depart, or I am escalating this. He did not even look up, just took a gulp from his container. Escalating, he stated, his inflection thick with sarcasm. What you gonna call the police over a kin visit? His pals snickered, one throwing a crisp into his mouth, fragments falling onto my carpet. Their dismissal stung, but I held my ground. My resolve unshaken. The celebration did not stop. Someone turned the music up, the bass vibrating through the floor. A female danced on my side table, her beverage sloshing onto the glass. Another man rummaged through my larder, pulling out snacks I had purchased for myself. The air was dense with the smell of ale and pizza, my haven now a circus. I felt the pressure building, my heart racing as their laughter mocked my demand. Liam leaned back against the counter, smirking. You are wasting your time, Alara, he stated, waving a hand. We are not going anywhere. Just enjoy the atmosphere. His casual arrogance was a strike, pushing me to act. I pulled out my phone, stepping back to capture the scene. I snapped pictures of the mess, vacant containers scattered on the counter, oily pizza containers stacked on the table, dirty tracks streaking the floor. I zoomed in on the female on the side table, her heels scuffing the surface, and the man raiding my larder, bags of crisps torn open. I even got a shot of Liam, ale in hand, smirking like he possessed the location. These were not just images, they were proof, evidence of what he had done to my home. I sent them to Karen, my fingers steady as I typed. For the record, this is what I am handling. She replied instantly, save those. They will assist if this proceeds lawful. The sound increased louder, a new group of Liam's pals yelling over a card match in the dining room. I stood in the corner observing them trample my area. My chest tight with frustration, every laugh, every clink of a container felt like a challenge to my authority. I considered Beatrice's guidance security attorney proof, and felt a surge of clarity. Liam believed he could disregard me, but I was not backing down. I checked my email. Karen's message had arrived, the deed attached confirming this mansion was mine, not his. I clutched my phone, the pictures and documents a shield against his entitlement. Time was ticking, security would be here soon, and I was ready to end this. 10 minutes later, the security crew arrived. Shriggies. 2 black SUVs pulled into the driveway and 3 uniformed officers stepped out, led by Officer Craig Spencer. His broad frame filled the entrance as he knocked, his voice calm but commanding. Miss Vance, we're here about your call. I opened the entrance, my heart steady despite the chaos inside. The music still blared and Liam's pals lounged across my furniture, oblivious to the shift. I handed Officer Spencer my property deed, the pages crisp in my hand. These individuals are trespassing, I stated, pointing to the crowd. I have asked them to depart, and they refused. Officer Spencer scanned the deed, nodding. I will address folks. He called out, his voice cutting through the noise. This is private property. You need to pack up and depart now. The music stopped abruptly and a hush fell over the room. Liam pushed through his pals, his face red with anger. You are kidding me, correct? He snapped, glaring at me. Alara, you called security on your own sibling. His voice dripped with betrayal, but I saw through it, another attempt to twist the narrative. You did not give me a choice. Liam. I stated, my tone even. This is my home. His friend stirred, some muttering, others grabbing their bags. But not all complied. A man in a hoodie, swaying from too many drinks, stumbled and spilled red wine across my cream-colored carpet, the stain spreading like blood. Another, trying to steady him, knocked a glass ornament off my side table, scratching the surface with a sharp screech. I winced but stayed focused, snapping a quick photo of the damage with my phone. Liam saw me and scoffed. Really documenting like some paranoid proprietor? You're pathetic, Alara. His phrases stung, but I kept my composure, nodding to Officer Spencer. That is more evidence, I stated quietly. Liam was not done. He pulled out his phone, typing furiously. Let us see how your precious reputation holds up, he sneered, hitting send. My phone buzzed seconds later with a notification from a social media platform. His post popped up, a photo of my mansion with the caption, My sister's so selfish she's ejecting kin to keep her luxurious house to herself. Ungrateful. The phrases struck hard, depicting me as the antagonist to his followers. I felt a surge of anger, but I pushed it down. This was not regarding his online outburst, it was regarding my home. Officer Spencer, I stated. Showing him the post, he is slandering me now. The officer frowned, jotting notes. We will address that later. Let us focus on clearing the property. The security crew moved in, directing Liam's pals to gather their things. Some complied, slinging backpacks over their shoulders, but others lingered, egged on by Liam's defiance. This is absurd, he shouted, pacing the sitting room. Alara, you are discarding kin for what a house. His voice cracked, but I saw the performance. He was playing the victim just like always. I stood by Officer Spencer, my arms crossed. It is not just a house, Liam. It is mine, and you do not respect that. My voice was calm, unshaken even as his pals shot me dirty looks. The officers began escorting individuals out, checking IDs to ensure no one stayed behind. A female protested, claiming she had just spilled a little wine, but Officer Spencer was firm. Ma'am, you are departing now. I followed them, watching as the group shuffled toward the automobiles. Some muttering curses, others laughing like it was a joke. Liam was the last to move, grabbing his carry-on with a scowl. You will regret this, Alara. He stated, his eyes cold. I did not flinch. No, Liam. You will. The officers guided him out, and the entrance shut behind them, the silence deafening. My home was mine again, but the fight was not over. As the last automobile pulled out of the driveway, silence returned. The mansion felt eerily still, the absence of music and laughter almost deafening. I stood in the entrance, watching the dust settle, my heart heavy but resolute. My home was mine again, but the cost was clear. I stepped inside, the weight of the day settling over me, and began assessing the damage. The cream-colored carpet in the sitting room bore a deep red wine stain, its edges frayed from careless steps. The glass side table, once pristine, now had a long, jagged scratch across its surface, glinting in the afternoon light. I ran my fingers over the mop, my stomach twisting at the sight. Every scuff, every stain was a reminder of Liam's disregard. I grabbed a pail and cleaning supplies, starting with the carpet. The wine would not move no matter how hard I scrubbed the fabric, soaking up my frustration. I moved to the table, wiping down the smudges, but the scratch remained a permanent scar. The kitchen was worse. Vacant containers littered the counter, and oily fingerprints smudged the cabinets. I worked in silence, each swipe of the cloth grounding me, reclaiming my area. This was not just cleaning. It was erasing the intrusion piece by piece. But as I swept the floor, I understood some things could not be undone. Liam had crossed a boundary I could not forgive. I opened my phone and blocked his number. The decision was heavy, like cutting a thread I had held onto for eras. Kin was supposed to mean something, but Liam had twisted that bond into a weapon. I considered our childhood, the instances I had permitted him to take because I believed in togetherness. No more. I blocked him on social media too, severing the final tie. The choice hurt, but it was necessary. I had spent years constructing this existence, my mansion, my occupation, my peace, and I was not permitting guilt pull me back. Liam was not my responsibility anymore. Later, I checked his social media post, the one calling me selfish. It had backfired. Comments flooded in, strangers and mutual acquaintances alike calling him out. You appeared uninvited with 20 individuals. That is not kin, that is entitlement, one wrote. Another stated she labored for that house. Respect it. His followers, the same ones who cheered him on, now questioned his narrative. A few even messaged me offering support, appalled at his conduct. Liam's attempt to shame me had turned on him, his credibility crumbling under the weight of his own actions. I did not feel vindicated, just weary. His loss was not my triumph. It was just the conclusion. As I sat on my patio watching the swells crash against the coast, I reflected on what this ordeal taught me. Establishing limits is not selfish. It is survival. Kin does not get a complimentary pass to disrespect you, no matter how close the blood. I had spent too long yielding to maintain the peace, but peace at the cost of my dignity was not worth it. This mansion, this existence was mine because I gained it, and no one, not even Liam, could take that away. I considered Mom's lessons. her voice in my head about respect, and realized I had honored her by standing firm. Limits were not barriers. They were entrances I chose to unlock or shut. I want to thank you all for listening to my narrative. It is not simple to share something so private, but I hope it resonates with you. Have you ever had to set a firm boundary with someone you adore? How did you manage it? If you like the story, please don't forget to like and subscribe.